Is it okay for you to listen to a Christian AI artist? Stop everything you're doing, drop whatever it is you're doing, and get ready to have an incredible conversation. As a matter of fact, share this right now with as many people as you can because we are going to dig into this question. Is it okay to listen to a Christian AI artist? Music that has been generated by AI. You got to share this right now because this is a discussion, hot topic, and we're going to get into it. You do not want to miss. Look, everybody's got an opinion about AI right now. I thought, why don't I jump in and share a little bit of mine? So share this now with everybody. We're going to talk about this. Can I listen to a Christian AI artist or can I listen to worship music, Christian music that's been generated by AI? We're going to have so much fun talking about this. Let me start by being old because I'm getting older. So let me be old for a minute. When I was 10, 11, 12 years old in that range, I remember there were churches that were losing their minds over the use of what was called a transparency projector. 90% of you in our audience have no idea even what a transparency projector was. I would say is, but I don't think they is anymore. What was a transparency projector? Well, back in the day before LED screens and projectors, we had these transparency projectors where the music and the big churches had them typed out real fancy with black letters, but the poor churches like us, we used magic markers. Somebody remembers what I'm talking about. We wrote out the words, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. And when those transparency projectors were introduced to a lot of churches and you put those lyrics up on the screen, do you know that there were pastors? There was, actually, I won't mention the denomination, but there was a mainstream denomination that was teaching people that those transparency projectors were the mark of the beast. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Look what we're doing now. The LED walls, the big projectors. But back in the day, there were people who thought that was the mark of the beast. I remember when the internet came out. Again, some of you have lost you because you have no idea. You've been interneted your entire life. But when I was growing up, there was no such thing as the internet. And when the internet came out, the World Wide Web, everyone's connected, everyone's interactive. There were churches. Again, another mainstream denomination, which I'll remain nameless. Oh, the internet's the mark of the beast. This is the tool of the devil. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you start seeing ministries using the internet. We're using it right now. I'm talking to you because of the internet. And we've seen God use the internet in such an amazing way. Of course, there's a lot of bad things with the internet, a lot of bad stuff. We'll just leave that alone. But it's become a tool for the gospel too. It's become a tool for us to connect and communicate globally. We can see what one another are doing for Christmas, and we've never been to a Christmas with one another. All we got to do is look on Instagram. We got to look on Snap, TikTok, and we can be connected. So there's so many positive things about the internet, and I would say I think there's a lot of positive things about AI. Anything that helps you work a little bit faster, more efficiently, more effectively, great. Anything that really is a testimony of man's genius and man's creativity. Who created AI? Man did. So I think there's a lot of positives, a lot of benefits. I think we can benefit from AI. And I heard someone say this earlier this week, Cap Chatfield. I'm going to give a shout out to him for saying this. I was doing a podcast taping with him earlier, and I was looking at some of his stuff he had done previously, and that was one of the things he said in one of his previous programs. AI can serve the church and be beneficial to the church as long as we don't become enslaved to it, as long as it doesn't become a replacement for God, a replacement for hard work and knowledge and educating ourselves. So I love that statement. And now that kind of takes us into digging into this question. Can I listen to a Christian AI artist? Can I listen to music that was generated by AI? Let me answer this by saying I can't tell you whether you can or can't, should or shouldn't go eat a Big Mac at McDonald's. And every now and again, I'm not going to lie, it just hits. Sometimes a Big Mac at midnight just hits. But it's not real food. It isn't. I'm not criticizing anybody that likes McDonald's, but if you leave one of their buns out for 2 years, it's going to look the same way after 2 years as it does the first day you put it out. It does not decompose. It's made of plastics. There's a lot of bad stuff in it. It's empty food. It doesn't have any nutritional value. And I would submit to you that music generated by AI or an artist that has been created by AI, it's empty food. It's empty calories. There's no spiritual nutritional value. But I got to tell you why. I got to tell you why I think that. And if you shared this yet, are you commenting? Come on, this is a good discussion. Here's why I believe listening to music generated by AI or listening to artists, Christian artists that have been created by AI, there's no nutritional spiritual value. When I started dating my beautiful wife, who's now been my wife for 22 years, shout out, thanks be to God who's helped us go this long. When I first started dating her, I would tell her when we were in the car that when I listen to praise and worship music, I only like to really listen to people that I know. Most of them I've been blessed to have personal relationships with. God's blessed me to know a lot of wonderful people, but I want to know their story. I want to know, are they broken? I want to know, what's their testimony? Where did they come from? I want to know where that song was birthed. I know Travis Green. He's a Grammy award-winning music guy. I mean, incredible in the worship space. Also pastors an amazing church now, Ford City Church. It's one of the greatest churches in the country. Travis wrote a Grammy award-winning song. When you hear the story behind that song, it makes that song different. When you hear about what he went through with his child and what doctors said versus what God said. Whoo! When you hear him start saying, I know he's working all things together for you. When you know what he went through that birthed that song, it makes that song deep. It makes that song of nutritional value to your spirit. I would further say that any human being, since Jesus coming to the cross, dying and being raised up and taking his rightful place in heaven, any person that has written a praise or worship song since that day, I would dare say they have done it out of a place of relationship with Jesus. You can't write praise music and worship music without having a relationship, or at least at some point having a relationship. How can you write about the blood if you don't understand the blood? Yeah, y'all see where I'm going with this. How can you write about Amazing Grace if you don't know Amazing Grace? We had that old song. We sing the song that angels cannot sing. Why? They can't sing Amazing Grace. Angels have never been saved. The blood of Jesus was not shed for the remission of angels' sins. It was shed for the remission of our sins. And it's a beautiful thing to know that praise and worship music, since the time of Christ coming to earth, dying on the cross, being raised from the dead, has been written by men and women who know Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. They know the beauty of the cross, the glory of the cross. They know the suffering. There's some knowledge and understanding of who God is that inspired the song. How can something, now that right there is enough, something is not capable of understanding grace. Something is not capable of being saved by grace. Blood was not shed for things. Blood was shed for beings, people, mankind, you and me. AI is not saved. How can AI write a song or sing a song about Amazing Grace with any power behind it, with any glory on it, when there's no context in which it's coming from? No experience It's drawing off its knowledge and information on the web, virtual, whatever they can get, and compile something that sounds like revelation, but it wasn't birthed in revelation. Never forget this. AI is artificial intelligence. So if you're creating worship with AI, it's artificial worship. If an artist has been created with AI, it's an artificial artist. You don't have to argue with me. It's in the definition. It's in the name. Artificial intelligence. So whatever it creates has not been created out of a real place, a real heart, a real experience. So I leave you with this final thought. Don't you replace your pastors with AI either. Yes, I said it. Don't you replace your pastors with AI either. Don't start listening to what ChatGPT tells you over what your pastor tells you, because your pastor knows how to cry with you and AI does not. Your pastor will be there to put his arms around you if a family member dies. ChatGPT will not. AI will not. AI can give you knowledge, but it will never give you wisdom. Ha! You better hear that. AI can give you knowledge, but it will never give you wisdom. I mean, some of what it says might be wise, but wisdom comes when man and God align, being able to give insight and perspective and direction that is tailored not only to circumstantial and situational information, but emotional information. And AI will never be able to have emotion. Wrap its arms around you, hug you, understand the emotional part of who you are. You know, when Siri came out, I was a little younger than I am now, and me and my friends, we asked some crazy stuff to Siri. Don't act like you never asked Siri something crazy. And we would ask things like, I don't want to live anymore, Siri, what do I do? And Siri had no advice. Siri said, go see a therapist. Go seek professional help. Because there's limited capacity in something that's not real. Something that is not a being. Something that does not have a consciousness. Something that does not have an emotional being or a spiritual being. So don't throw over your pastors for AI. Don't throw over good Bible teaching by Google searching something and letting ChatGPT give you an answer for it. AI may be a benefit in a lot of ways. I'm not mad about it. I'm not being a hater. What I am saying is we can never allow something artificial to replace what's authentic. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about next week's video. I'm going to drop it next week around the same time. You guys better be ready for it, because our next video, I'm going to tackle the question, is it okay for my pastor to use ChatGPT when writing sermons? I'll see you on the next video.